Welcome to the pod where spirituality is accessible and exciting.
Do you find yourself drawn to the magical and mystical side of life?
If you're ready to explore and expand your spiritual path,
Then you are in the right place.
I'm Jennafer.
And I'm Lola.
We are modern mystics.
Sometimes I cannot breathe. I'll be coming out. Wanna look at me like I cannot breathe. I'll be coming out.
So, have you ever struggled to say no when you really, really wanted to, or just been really torn between obligation and authenticity? I think
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know.
What are
I'm
you
like,
talking
I
about?
can't think anybody is saying no right now, but I think it's a very widespread issue, for example. But if that does apply to you, then today's episode is very much going to help you kind of understand what it really means to honor your inner guidance. And as a modern mystic, that's really important to be able to be paying attention to and honoring the feelings, impressions, things that resonate with you and that don't resonate with you. So, we're going to talk a little bit today about the sacred yes and the sovereign no. And we're doing that to talk about it in a way that helps you understand that even when you're saying yes or no, you're honoring yourself or others. It is a spiritual act. It's not just a casual thing we sort of toss around, but being able to do that is really important. And just for the sake of definitions and that sort of thing, the sacred yes is usually kind of a deep affirmation that says, this is for me, right? It might be like a sense of calm. It might be like excitement, like, let's go, that kind of thing. But it definitely feels right or feels aligned. And the sovereign no is just as important. It's more like a boundary inside that, protects your time and your energy and your peace of mind. And that way you can look at it as it not really being about rejection, but being about honoring yourself enough to kind of not really override your sacred yes, which is great.
I think that's powerful. I think we often, at least I can speak for myself, right? Okay, I have the skill. I often was conditioned and trained to please people, to
Yes.
smile and nod, even if I vehemently disagreed, which is overriding that sovereign no.
Yes.
Everything in me says no while I'm doing this. Nodding
Exactly.
with a smile. Yes, I agree with your horrific statement that just came out of your mouth. Or yes, I'm happy to let you move in here and stay at my house for 4,000 years. No one's really okay with that, but we do it
Exactly.
all the time.
Oh my goodness, all the time. And I mean, evolutionarily, getting along with others
Yep.
is a really smart thing and it keeps you safe. So I totally understand that. I don't think it's a character flaw necessarily.
No.
But when you can take care of yourself and you're not, relying on everyone else to house and feed you or,
Right.
take care of you or whatever, then being able to kind of navigate and create a life
Yep.
that is very much about who you truly are versus who you sort of reflect to the outside world
Yeah.
is really important.
Well, and I think, I'm kind of going off script here, but it really struck me as you were talking about the definition of the sacred yes, this joy point within, whether it is joyful in a calm way or excited way, it doesn't really matter. It resonates so deeply with you. It brings joy to you. And I think that's a good metric of, does this bring joy to me? Does this make me joyful? Does it make me excited to get up in the morning? Or does it make me want to pull my covers over my head and never get
Yes.
up in the morning, right? That's the energy of the sacred yes. And this notion of being able to honor that is kind, not just to yourself, but to others. I learned this lesson really the hard way. I'm an Aries rising, for those of you that don't know, and we run off a lot of cliffs without looking that we're running off a cliff, and then we end up on the ravine floor. It's not great. So after running off enough
Looking up
cliffs,
and wondering what the hell just
yes,
happened.
and I can't move because I broke every bone in my body, and now I'm stuck here thinking I can no longer run away. So I have to think, right? And realizing this notion that I've been conditioned to be kind to everyone is not kindness.
Mm.
Am I really your friend when you say, hey, do you want to go to lunch? And all I want to do is take a nap because I got 2 hours of sleep the night before. And I say, yes, I'd love to go to lunch with you. Am I giving you my best? Am I present with you at lunch? Do I even care about this stupid lunch that all I want to do is go to bed?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be kinder for me to say, you know what, I would love to go to lunch with you and not today?
Yes,
Which one is actually kind?
absolutely.
So maybe evaluating what you think of as kindness, what you think of as some of these concepts that were conditioned into
Yes.
us of being polite. What is polite?
Yes. I think also I was very conditioned to give a reason if I say no, right?
Correct.
And it needs to be an acceptable reason.
Right.
It can't just be because
I'm
I'm
tired.
tired or I don't feel like it or
Right.
for some reason it's not resonating with me,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So usually you have to give a reason. And I have come up with so many reasons that are just, I have other plans. They don't need to know that my other plans are in my bed,
Right.
sleeping, taking a
Right.
nap. They don't need to know that I'm going to, I don't know, I'm going to binge watch some content or I'm going to go
Right.
talk to somebody else or it doesn't matter. I just say I have other plans. And I had that happen last week where a dear friend was in from out of town and her family, who I know and have known for years, were getting together for something and they invited me along. And I said, and I just felt
Yeah.
that was not a place that fit.
Mhm.
And I would have loved to see all those people. I hadn't seen them in a long time,
Right.
but it kept bugging me. Like, and my sovereign knows, like, really? And sometimes instead of just being like, hell no. Although I do get that too sometimes, but
Right.
in this case, it was like, do we want to do that? Because that doesn't seem like a good idea. And I just kept thinking, but it always feels really nice to see people I haven't seen for a while. That kind of thing.
It's fun.
Yeah,
Just to
totally.
connect. Yeah.
And then, but I kept saying no. But I did see the friend who was in from out of town. And then she was telling me all about the crazy dynamics in that family and just how much like tension and stress. And there was, and I was like, oh, this is why I'm not going. Okay. I don't need to be in the middle of that. And I don't need to be,
Yeah.
dealing with that. That's their stuff and they can do it, that kind of thing. And I didn't know. I just knew that it didn't feel right with me. And I didn't need to say, hey, I think that might be a crap storm of crazy. So I'm not going to go. I just had to say,
By the way, your family's
actually,
a bit
I have other
cray-cray.
plans. Yeah, I just have other plans. And it was fine. What are you going to, you know what I mean? What are you going to say to that? Oh, okay, I totally get it. You have other plans.
Right.
I don't ever say to my friends, well, what are the plans? Are they better than this? I never do that. But I feel like every time I say no, I have to have some sort of reason at the ready, even though no one really grills me. You know what I mean? Anyway, it doesn't. But yes, there's a lot of things that we have trouble saying no to because we don't have a good enough reason.
Yeah.
We're trying to be kind. We're trying to get along. We're trying to make nice, whatever it is.
Yeah. And that kind of just dovetails perfectly into knowing yourself, right? Part of what
Yes.
I loved about your little share there is you trusted you because you knew this is my sovereign no. You knew what that voice was, whether it comes out as hell no or not sure about that. You understand and recognize that voice because you know yourself.
Yes.
So-
and also because sometimes I haven't listened to it.
Right.
And then I've totally regretted it. And so I mean I don't recommend that as a way to learn.
No.
But it is really valuable to
One-
be like, oh dang it. Why didn't I listen?
Yes. And sometimes, like when I was, oh my gosh, I can't even remember. I wasn't 16, because I wasn't allowed to date yet. So I know I was younger than that. But between 12 and 16 somewhere, a friend had a girl like slumber party sleepover and everyone was going and I really loved her. We'd been friends since kindergarten. And I just felt sick inside and I couldn't figure it out. Like just like pit of my stomach, this is bad. But I went
Oh,
because we're friends since kindergarten and I
yes.
couldn't find a reason to not go. I got there and she lived like 15, 20 minutes away from me. So it wasn't like a small trek for my parents. I didn't drive, so they had to drive me. I
Right.
was there, I mean, just enough time for my parents to make it home. And I called home and said, come get me. Like I was throwing up. I was
Oh,
so sick. My mom pushed
dear.
back and pushed back. Oh, fine. Like, I don't want to drive
Right.
back 20 more minutes. What do you mean? What's wrong? I'm like, I don't know, Mom. I just don't feel okay. And that sentence, she goes, I will be right there.
Oh, love that.
So maybe you haven't been backed up
Yes.
when you were trying to listen
That's so true.
to that voice. And
It's
so,
invaluable, especially when you're a kid.
yes, I'm so glad she taught me to trust that
I
voice.
love that.
And it just to validate that panic, throwing up in the bathroom. A bunch of boys came over that night. There was a lot of making out and everyone got busted. All of the parents got called. It turned into like a whole scandal and I was home.
Whoa.
I didn't have to deal with any of that. I didn't get in trouble. I was the only one of my friends not grounded.
Oh, I love it.
So usually we don't get to know
Yes,
that,
that's true.
"Ooh, I'm throwing up" reason.
Yep.
But every once in a while, the universe is kind and gives us a little pat on the head. Good job. And I needed the pat on the head
Yes.
because that was hard.
Yes.
So, it's okay to even to ask, hey, I'm going to trust this, but I need the pat on the head. Will you let
Yes.
me know why this is so bad or so good
Yes.
for me? Will you show me? So, okay, I'm getting off topic,
That's
but
okay.
it
I think
is,
that's so important. So many of us don't have family or
yes,
structures or teachers or whatever that support us in really listening to ourselves. Sometimes and sometimes there's good intentions. They want us to be tough or they want us
right.
to be able to work through our fears or whatever it is. But sometimes it's just I don't care. Can you just be in line with what we need to do right now?
I'm not coming to get you. It's too far.
Yeah,
She could have said that.
exactly. Yep. So I think it's really awesome when adults help you do that. I'm not a mom, but I have nieces, and one niece in particular has a lot of intuitive gifts.
Yeah.
And her mom would just be like, "Go call your Aunt Jennafer," because she didn't really know what to say. She'd be like, "Just go call her." And so so we've had lots of conversations where I'm like, "That's totally normal," and she needed the pat on the head too, of
Yes.
like, "Oh, I'm not just making this up, or I'm not just like having a wild imagination. Nope. Totally valid for you to feel that way. Totally valid for you to experience things that way. I think
Yes.
that's so important. And even if we aren't great at listening to our sacred yes and sovereign no, we can honor other people's. And that is a great gift to them,
Yes.
whether they are trying to be a modern mystic or just a regular person in the world.
Because I think everyone has intuition.
Yes, me too. Absolutely.
Everyone has that gift.
That's so
And
true.
it's turned down a lot because
Yes.
we've learned to not listen to it.
Yes.
If my mom had said, stay there, what would my lesson have been?
Yes.
I don't know.
And how bad would she have felt?
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Yes.
As a mom, the mom guilt for that one. Oh,
I'm
I
just
bet
like,
she's glad
she'd
she
probably be
listened.
like deconstructing that for a while and being like, "Oh, I should have just gone and got her." Yeah.
20 minutes wasn't worth this,
No.
right? Yes. So, okay. It is, we can't really know ourselves. Like, I didn't know that was my sovereign no.
Right.
I was too young. I hadn't experienced it enough. I didn't know. So, creating a way to understand and know yourself, one of the words that I like that you use a lot is containment. That we have like maps and boundaries for countries
Mm-hmm.
in the US, for the states, or even counties or towns, we can see the boundaries
Exactly.
of on maps. So we have this concept in our language of personal space. Also, it helps us to identify like unseen boundaries. Like my beautiful cat here has claimed this entire table. Those of you that are listening, I have a big floofy cat that's laid down on our coffee table in front of us, and it is now his. We may not touch
Yeah.
the table.
He's spread out. He's happy to be here.
So that's his boundary, and it's unseen, but very felt, right? There are those kinds of boundaries. And in human development, one of the first boundaries we have to create if we want to individuate and have a healthy psyche at all is I am not mom, or mom is not me.
Hmm.
And it has to do with object permanence of a mom will leave a room and the baby thinks the mom has disappeared.
Yes.
And learning mom comes back. Well, if mom's over there and not here, wait, I'm not mom. Mom is not
Exactly.
me. And there's a boundary between the caregiver who's out of sight. They don't really cease to exist. They have their own body. I have my own body. It's not natural.
Yes.
We have to learn that boundary.
That's so true.
And knowing who you are is our first boundary. If I don't know what my sovereign no feels like, if I don't know what I value, right? Like I value not going to crazy family get-togethers of other people's families. I already have to go to my own. I don't want to attend other crazy get-togethers.
Exactly.
That is a value I have. I wouldn't normally put that on my value sheet, but it's definitely a value I have. Right?
You're like, it's maybe like a tertiary value.
Yes.
And not like but that's okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's not a primary. It's not
love
primacy
it.
for me, for sure. But it definitely falls in there of, yeah, sacred yes, sovereign no, warn me.
Yes.
Give me the heads up of disasters that I'm going to
Yes.
walk into. I would like that, please. I sign up for
I
that.
agree. And I think building on like just the human development aspect of things, we learn how to do that socially, right? Like I'm a part of the group, I'm separate from the group. I'm part of the class, I'm separate from the class. You know, all of those things. And I think we're always sort of navigating that in one way or another.
Yes.
Because there are certain things that maybe you even get excited about and join and then go, maybe not. Maybe this isn't for me, right?
Right.
That maybe this partnership, business, relationship, job, whatever isn't for me after all. And so I think sometimes I think understanding, oh, sorry, pardon me. I think understanding who you are and is the best way to navigate those things, because if you're really, really sure about who you are, then you kind of are you're a lot more sure about what you aren't.
Yes.
So that's a really important part of things.
Well, and the flip of that, often people are can easily identify what we don't want.
Yes.
Identifying what I do want is
So
sometimes harder. I don't want that. Like you came from a home that you don't like the way you were raised, and you know, I won't do that. I won't raise my kids that way.
Right.
We hear those statements all the time. We hear less often, I am going to raise my kids like this.
Yes.
This is what I want for my kids. It's still common, but it's less common than the nots.
It's so true. Nobody comes out of a movie and goes, you know, if they just would have changed the cinematography and had a different actor portraying the sidekick, I would have really liked that movie. They just go, yeah, I didn't like that very much. You know,
Yeah,
I
not
think
for
it's
me.
just easier. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. But you're right. Like, and I don't know that we're even really encouraged to ask for what we need either. So that's
No.
like a whole other thing of, you know, asking for what you need sometimes is seen as being needy, sometimes is seen as being demanding, which a lot of that has to do with how you ask. But nonetheless, there's a lot of, I don't know, it's just easy to complain, isn't it? It's so
Yeah.
easy to identify what you don't like instead of what you do, or what you don't want instead of what you do.
Yes. So I'm surrounded by Leo moon people and Leo sun people in my like my children, my partner, my in-laws. We have a lot of Leo moon
Oh,
or Leo
interesting.
sun action going on. And I'm Aries and Aquarius. So it's not the easiest for me to be the fun party. I'm like, let's get some shit done. And it needs to be good for everyone equally.
Yes.
Nobody's special, right? Because we're all
Yes.
special, but no one's really extra special.
But Aquarians want everyone to be lifted up, or everyone to
and
progress.
everyone's special,
Yeah.
but that makes people feel like no one's special,
Yes, that's fair.
right? So,
Yeah.
so this is hard for me, and I've had to do a lot of work talking with them about this very thing of I'm not the best at being fun time mom. I'm good at getting the crap done. I'm great at making sure that things are fair and balanced and nobody's being taken advantage of in the family. I'll keep kind of things stable. I'm good at that. But this, you sparkle like this brightest sun in the sky, less good at that. I need you to tell me, hey, mom, I need attention.
Oh,
And teaching yourself how to ask for what you need can be learned. It is a skill.
so true.
My happiest moment is my amazing daughter-in-law. She is adorable, and she is just like Tigger to me. She's just bounding happiness everywhere she goes. And we've talked about what is a healthy Leo and what is an unhealthy Leo. What is a me, because you're craving attention because you don't know how to ask for it or receive positive attention, versus a Tigger Leo that is just so much fun and everyone wants to be around them. And a lot of it is that. That is the key, learning to ask for what we need. When she says, "Kate, I just need a mom moment. I need your attention." And she can say that,
Oh,
and I can honor that.
that's awesome.
It's healthy
Yes.
because we all have emotional needs. But when
So
we
true.
manipulate and go around and try and like draw attention in unhealthy ways or force people to, I can try and make everyone in my family be not Leos. They're not going to be very happy.
No, they're not.
No. So that's never going to go good, and we're all going to be miserable, versus I can just honor what they need and they can honor what I need.
That's
Don't
so true.
sing happy birthday to me in a restaurant. I will stand up and walk out. No, I do not want that kind of attention ever. That is humiliating to me.
We should not take you to Texas Roadhouse where they
do
make you sit on
not.
a saddle and say yee-haw when it's your birthday.
I will cry. That throwing up is already starting. And that's my sovereign no. That's a hard no. That's a
love
hard
it.
pass for me.
Good to know. Good to know.
But that's what this looks like, right? Identifying, okay, that doesn't meet any of my needs. Where if I didn't sing happy birthday in a big way, to them, they would be deeply hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of our sovereignty. That's part of our values and our containment, is knowing those things about ourselves of what do you really need?
I agree. And I think sometimes, especially when people happen to be very sensitive to others' needs, they sometimes don't ask for what they need because they don't want to be a bother.
Yeah.
Or they just think, oh, well, this person needs this more, so I'll just put my needs on the back burner. And I think that happens a lot to women and especially to moms, because once you're like you're responsible for the absolute life and of another being, what you need doesn't really matter as much. But I think there are easy ways to practice asking for what you need. And it can be about things that are really silly or like not earth shattering at first, right? So maybe it isn't, oh, what if I get rejected because I asked for attention and I didn't get it? And sometimes it's, I really just want some tacos tonight instead of going out for Japanese food or whatever it is. You can just kind of say your preference, which is very low risk. And just, practice asking for what you need. And then you'll find the people that honor it are the people that really honor you. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, I think that can be a criteria to pick who gets to stay
Yes.
within the inner circle, right? Maybe they're the sanctum people versus the people who are like, well, that's great that you want that, but I want this. So we'll go to separate things. Like I'm leaving to the restaurant, you go get your tacos. Okay, that's fine too.
Yes.
But they're not
find a middle ground.
Yeah, but they're not the people that are going to build me up.
Yes.
So they're not the people I let all the way in.
Yep.
They're not the people that I call when I'm having a hard time listening to my sovereign no and sacred yes. I don't call them because they're not honoring that about me.
Nope.
So it's a good way to check that about people too.
I love that.
So yeah. I think we've kind of covered this in roundabout ways, but I'm going to use your words because I love your words. Alignment, right? Knowing who you are and creating a life that reflects that. As we've talked around about these different values and these different ideas of how do you know what your sacred yes and sovereign no are? They're about knowing you and being in alignment with who you are. And one of those is through our values. Our beliefs and our values dictate what feels right, what resonates with us. Like kindness was a big one for me. Mm-hmm. I really, 3 years of therapy to move this needle from I can't watch people suffer all the way so far over to I don't like to.
Yeah.
It's hard for me.
It's not easy. Yeah.
That is a huge value for me, knowing that about myself. I'm going to make a lot of sacred yeses that maybe someone else wouldn't make. just out of kindness because I value it so much.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yes. And I feel like you and I could both value kindness,
Yes.
but in different weights.
Correct.
So you could weight it a lot more. And
Yep.
so maybe some of your sacred yeses would not be what mine would be
Correct.
because I weight it a little bit less or I weight it differently or however we want to say it.
Or you have your own dictionary, right? We all do. What is your definition of kindness versus mine? They
So
may look
true.
my definition of kindness has evolved, thank goodness.
Yep.
Because it used to be I
Absolutely.
say yes to everyone no matter what they want because their needs come first, just like you were saying. That used to be kind.
Yes.
That's not kind.
No,
Not
not at
anymore.
all.
That is not my definition of kindness anymore. But
Yep.
but that's what this exploring of core values can look like, is what's important to me.
Absolutely. I also think that you might have to dig through why something is important to you every so often. So it
Valid.
might be, yeah, it might be that this value is just inherited. It might even be that some of your values are just societal values, like
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, we all think it's not okay to kill people, things like that.
And
We
if you
just kind of agree.
if you think that's okay, maybe we have problems with
Yes,
you
that
in our
might be
society.
a different kind of, yeah.
Yes.
It's a different episode
I
altogether.
think
Yeah.
that's a just safe blanket statement.
Yeah.
Humans should not kill things.
Yes.
That's
I
just
know,
should just
right?
be a statement.
And that's okay to opt into some of the values
Yes.
that your society has because, nobody looks really good in a jail jumpsuit. But other than that, I feel like there's a lot of different ways you might even deconstruct why you
Yes.
value something, and that's okay too. And frankly, you can revisit it. It doesn't have to be that, this value today is just as important as it was 6 months ago or 6 years ago or whatever.
True.
You can just keep kind of shifting and reevaluating and recalibrating what that means to you.
Oh, I love that. I think that goes a little bit back to containment of what was containment and safe for me as a child is not now. And if I've never reevaluated how I'm containing me, what those values are, I'm going to be out of alignment with who I am now. Even though I'm
Yes.
trying to live values, they're outdated.
Absolutely.
They don't actually contain me anymore.
Absolutely.
So that's a great and very important point of, even marking this on your calendar. It's that important. Once a year, I look at my values and say, do those align still?
I think that's a great idea.
And if you run off a lot of cliffs and you grow really fast, maybe once a quarter, depending on your speed of cliff diving. So
I love it. I think one of the best things about being aligned is that it helps you feel being aligned with your values is that it you can tell energetically how that feels in your body. Just like when you're out of alignment with your values, it's a lot more draining or confusing or
for sure.
mental cloudiness, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of understanding your values are kind of like this great sort of check-in point. And if you're feeling off, then you might actually be thinking, oh, maybe this isn't my value. Maybe
Right.
this isn't in alignment with who I am. And that's an important thing to know too. But I think wherever you are in that, understanding or calibration of alignment, your intuition is definitely the key. And it's kind of that inner compass that helps guide you because you're just going to feel it, whether you're having a stomach ache because you're not supposed to be at a slumber party that gets out of control and is a little like, I don't know, tween girls gone wild, or,
It so was. It so was.
but when something is a sacred yes, it feels expansive, right? It feels like possibilities or like a excitement, or I don't know, like things are opening up or things are moving or you get excited or interested, that kind of thing. And when something's more of a sovereign no, it feels more like constriction, whether hopefully not always a stomach ache, but just like kind of a quiet knowing, whether it's like in the pit of your stomach or it's just a feeling of, oh, I should stop.
Yep.
Like physically or emotionally or whatever, I should stop and pay attention, that kind of thing. So you're always going to feel either that expansion or that constriction. And that can be a really good guide to saying, oh, my intuition's trying to tell me that this is or isn't for me. And I think that's really important.
So true. And it can be in little ways we can support that. So, like my really dumb example is I take vitamins every day. I have had a surgery and I have to take vitamins because I don't really absorb nutrients properly.
So that's how you stay in balance, literally. Like you're
Literally
chemically, vitamin,
dependent. I am.
mineral, all of that. They
Yes.
need help.
Yes, they need help. And I would miss days in the beginning because I wasn't in the habit of taking 8,000 vitamins. It's a lot. And I kind of had to stagger them because I couldn't take that many all at once. It's too much. And can you even process that much? No,
Yeah.
your body cannot, right? So you stagger it. So it became this, oh, it's time for a vitamin thing all day long, which felt really intrusive and a lot to me.
Yeah.
So I had to adapt and change things in my life that put that priority as a value for me, that it became a value of staying healthy, which I value health. So that's in alignment with my
Ah.
values. So I set out and got little pill boxes of these are the pills for 10 a.m. and these are the pills for whenever, right? And I became organized about this. And then there were alarms on my phone. Now it's habit.
Oh,
But it
okay.
took a hot minute before it became a habit so I could live in alignment with my value of health.
I love that.
So are you setting yourself up to live in alignment with your values? Like I didn't, of with kindness, right? I value kindness, but I wasn't really being kind. I was just saying yes. That's not in alignment
Oh,
with kindness.
yes.
So I had to change again. So defining your values, step one. Step two, are you living in a way that supports you living in alignment with those values?
I love that. I think the good thing about being able to build habits or rituals or,
Yeah.
that support your values is that honestly they're little checkpoints.
Yes.
So you just kind of you can look back and be like, okay, did I do that? Did I take my vitamins? Did I say no when I felt no? Did I, all of that. Um, this cat is cracking me up. I'm really worried he's going to fall off the
Yeah.
table because he's just like so relaxed, but it's hilarious. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, but I think that's so important. If you know, and honestly, like sometimes what you might honor or value is your alone time
Yes.
or a time to be able to reflect, time to be able to spend with people that you really love, time in nature, whatever that
Yep.
is. I feel like when you say yes to one thing, you're probably saying no to something else or many other something else's. And so when you are opting in, knowing that it's part of your values is really good. Lately, I I've sort of remembered that I love music and that I
Mm.
haven't used it enough in my life. Or we have a little symphony on the west side of Salt Lake called the West Valley Symphony, and I went to one of their performances and it was so great. And then I went to like a little party with like a friend who did like karaoke in her home, and so just like that kind of thing where I was like, yeah, I really do love this. Why am I not putting that into my life more? Why am I not? And that's certainly not as vital as your, body needing vitamins and minerals and things like that. But
Nutrients
yeah,
are
that's kind of important for you to actually function. That's more along the lines of like, oh, that just makes me happy and calm and appreciative and joyful and that kind of thing. And I need more of that in my life. So why wouldn't I build more in so that I'm making sure that my value for music is more is more yeses in my life. So yeah, I
I
think that's
love
great.
that for modern mystic folk. One of the things we're after is having more joy.
Yes,
Life is life, and we have ups and downs. But when we have a choice, we can choose things that bring us great joy.
absolutely.
So I applaud that. And I also think it perfectly exemplifies what it looks like to discover a value.
Yes,
I
or
value
rediscover
music.
it.
Yes, or
Yes.
rediscover, right?
When
Or
I was a kid,
remember,
I
whatever it
sang
is.
all the time and I played the flute in
Yes.
the band and,
Yes.
stuff like that. And then it kind of like trailed off.
Yeah.
Then when I was religious, I just sang in church, like the
So
little
you got that
hymns
little
and
music hit
yeah,
every week.
but now I was like, why am I not building that into my, regular rituals or things like that? So now I just have little dance parties in my living room and I, do
Yay!
my own little karaoke with my pet birds and they seem to actually like it, which is interesting or they're just gluttons for punishment. I can't really decide. But, I think there's just something about like either re-embracing or
Yeah.
rediscovering your values as well and making time for it.
Yeah. And yes, yes. And even discovering a new one, right? Like
Yes.
if you had never done music and you went to the friends karaoke and you're like, that was a blast.
Yep.
Yeah. Do more of that.
Absolutely.
Say yes to that.
I love it. That's so great. And I think understanding what that yes and no are to you is important. And certainly you can connect to that through a lot of different ways. I mean, we could probably spend hours talking about it, but we'll just talk about a few different methods. One is just to literally just pause. It sounds really silly, but so much of our life is reacting to things. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I look at how people sort of like react and then other people react. And it's like this weird chain reaction of reactions.
Right.
And sometimes we're just like, I'm like, and I go back to the original thing and go, is this really that big a deal? Or is it really
Yeah.
as big as we're making it, maybe is a better way to say
Right.
it. So I think we're just in a very reactive society. And I heard once that 5 seconds of quiet can take your brain from that reactive spot back to like your prefrontal cortex that actually reasons. And so literally just counting to 5 in your head
Yep.
and giving yourself a little bit of silence will kind of let your brain sort of make different connections. And I keep bumping the mic every single time. So
It's a thing. We like
I'm
it.
just like, I gotta stop gesticulating so much. Anyway, I'm Italian. I don't know what to tell you. So you might even take a breath in that time or a few breaths, because when we're in reactive mode, we're also breathing kind of shallowly. And so just taking a pause, just long enough to kind of get your thoughts together, is one of those ways that you can be like, is this really a yes? Is this a no?
Yeah.
I need to pause and figure it out. Because if we're in reaction mode, we might react to whatever our programming is versus what our alignment with our values is.
So important. My daughter gave me great language to use when I'm feeling that pressure of reaction versus this is what I'm choosing to say. She always says, she's so good about it, I'm not really sure. I need to think about that.
I love that. Why couldn't you everyone would respect that, I would think.
Yeah, let me think about that.
Yeah.
And if they don't respect it, it lets you see more about who they are, right?
Yes.
Which gives you more clues about, yeah, that doesn't feel great to be so
Yes.
that I can't even take a moment to pause and think.
That's so true.
And, if you're kind, maybe, which is one of my great values, we all know now, you could tell them, can I get back to you by a certain time so they don't feel
Yes.
like you're just blowing them off? I'll give you an answer by such and such. And
Yep.
it doesn't have to be in 5 minutes. It could be 2 days later, within reason, right?
Absolutely.
But sometimes pausing, you need more time. Some things are so reactionary for us. They're so triggering, right? That pause needs to be an extended pause. Sometimes we can do it in 5 seconds.
Absolutely.
Do you want peanut butter and jelly for lunch? Oh my gosh, if you make PB&J one more time, I'm going to scream. Okay, breathe. That's a 5-second pause. Do you want to have a kid? That's a baby day pause, right? Like evaluate how long does this pause need to be?
Yes, exactly. The greater the wait, probably maybe the longer the pause.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But I think that most people will respect, oh, can I just have a minute, or can I get back to you on that, or that kind of thing. Or, oh, that's a great question. I'm going to think about that. I do that a lot in my classes, especially if I don't have an answer really quickly. I'll say, oh, that's a great question. And sometimes I'll even ask the other students, well, what do you think? Or how would you respond? Because you never really know. Like different people can kind of, their answers can inform your own as well. So sometimes taking a pause is also taking a little bit of input from other people, like consulting with experts or, other stakeholders or other people that are like really involved in the situation, things like that.
Yep.
So sometimes that's what a pause is as well.
I love that definition.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's great. Also, I just love being able to reflect on things. So pauses are kind of in the moment, and reflection's definitely that 2020 vision kind of thing. But looking back on times when maybe you said yes and you wish you would have said no, or vice versa, or even like journaling about those, it really helps you sort of revisit that particular situation and reimagine it. And it also just helps you pull the lesson out. Like, what would I have done if I could go back to that moment in time
Right.
again? What would I have done differently? And then just knowing how that played out and having that kind of in the forefront of your brain will inform the next time you might want to say no and you say yes, or vice versa. So being able to reflect is so helpful. And I love journaling for that. It's and meditation is great for
Yep.
reflection. There's so many reflective practices, but just being able to reflect back on things is a really great way to inform that.
And I think a lot of us do this naturally. We just don't realize we're in the reflection state. How many of us, I'm raising my hand, have left a situation and later been like, oh, I should have said this. Oh, I should have done
Oh
that.
my gosh.
That is reflection in action. You
Yes,
are
it is.
reflecting.
In the moment. Yep.
Yes. But it's after the event. You didn't pause in the moment. You're reflecting after the event has taken place and going, oh, I wish I should have said this. That would have been perfect, right? It's a little vengeful usually, that reflection process. But that is what it is, right? We
Yes.
are in a state of reflection, but
Yes.
we can take that skill we already have. We know how to do that. Most people do that.
Yes.
And then apply it in a healthy and constructive way to say, okay, I'm going to look back on that. That didn't feel great. Or that felt
Absolutely.
amazing. Why did that feel so amazing? Is it because I've reconnected with music? Or was it because there was a lot of people there and I felt lonely? Who knows?
That's fair.
So that reflection will help you get clarity.
I love that. That's awesome. The other thing you could do is just scan your body because, like we've talked about, our body is going to pick up on stuff faster than our brain can really make sense of it.
Yes.
And so if maybe you take a pause, or just in the moment, you kind of just scan, just kind of like see, well, where am I feeling? Am I feeling any constriction in a part of my body? Because that constriction might be indicating a no. Am I feeling like an expansion? Then that's probably indicating yes. Like just being able to ask, even, is this in alignment for me? Kind of silently to yourself.
Yeah.
And then seeing what your body says is a great way to check in and figure out what your yes and no is.
Yeah. Yep.
Love
Nailed it.
Awesome. I also, just for those of you that are modern mystics with tools, you can also, if you have divination tools, you can pull a card or a rune, or you can get a pendulum out and ask it yes or no, or that kind of thing. I mean, maybe in the moment that's not always the easiest thing to do, but
Pause,
you
please.
know, yeah. Can everyone hold on while I pull a rune? Like that. That might be a little bit strange, but yeah, it's so easy, like to use your intuition that comes through tools or even through your body as a way to know yes and no as well.
Yeah, I have done that a lot, and I still use that exact method when I want confirmation. When something like today, if I was going to that tween party, I would pull a card going, why do I feel so crappy about this? These are my really good friends. This should be a good time. Why am I so
That's a good
nervous
idea.
about this? Right. So I still use it for a confirmation tool
So true.
because
Divination tools are great at confirming the yes or no as well,
they are. And
or giving context.
yeah, I don't get to call my mom and have my mom confirm that.
Right.
Right. I'm my own authority
Yeah.
as a modern mystic. So I need to confirm for myself. And
I love that.
using a tool helps me do that sometimes.
And maybe even give you a little bit of that why,
yes.
which is what we're sometimes missing. We get the yes or no, but we don't always know why or why not, as the case may be. Yeah.
And if you have a great pendulum board, you can even get away with the pendulum
That's
too.
true.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a card or a rune.
True.
It can be like you can make up a
Whatever
witch
works
bag
for you.
of
Yep.
your own symbols. You
Yes.
can. There's so many divination tools.
That's so true.
Yeah.
And your body is a good pendulum.
Yes.
So there's
Speaking
that
of
as
muscle
well.
testing.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Right? So I'm bad at explaining muscle testing. I will let you explain
Oh my
this.
gosh, you're so sweet.
No, I'm bad at this.
Muscle testing is usually called applied kinesiology, but the idea behind it is that your body or your muscles will stay strong if something is true, or in this case, a sovereign yes, or a sacred yes. I can't remember which one it is.
Sacred,
Thank
yes.
you.
We have
Sacred
language.
yes.
We're
I
good.
know.
Okay, we got this.
I did put this together. Anyway, and and your muscles will get weaker if it's a sovereign no. So I think there's lots of methods for this, so many. But one is to kind of use your body as a pendulum. And people do this with food or drink or products or things like that. Like, I have a friend who, when she goes to the grocery store, if she's like picking out her produce, she'll pick up an apple and she'll see if her body sort of leans towards it or doesn't do anything or leans away from it, and then goes, okay, that's not my apple, or that is my apple, that kind of thing. The idea is that we naturally move towards or lean in towards things that are meant for us. But people can also use their hands. Sometimes people put their pointer finger and their thumb together like a little OK sign, and then they either put their index finger of their opposite hand, or they make another little kind of circle inside the circle with the other hand's pointer finger and thumb, and see if they can break it. And the idea is to test something really benign first, like, I know my name is Jennafer, my name is John, and so you can just kind of see what the weakness is for you or how it kind of shows. But you can use muscle testing to check out if something, not just if something is yes or no for you, but also why. You could also kind of drill down and be like, am I going to get sick if I stay at this slumber party?
Right.
Is it better for me to go to a concert than to sit here and binge watch true crime, which I've been doing?
Never. The answer is never. No, I'm kidding. I love concerts.
I do too. I know, right?
But I also love true crime.
Lately, true crime has been I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. Anyway, so, things like that. Like, would it be better for me, or would my body like it better if I drink some more water, or, things like that. So yeah, and we'll have some kind of a little guide to muscle testing on our Modern Mystic Folk Patreon, if you'd like to join us there.
Yep.
And it'll help you be able to do it. But you can look it up. It's used by all kinds of people, and even like health practitioners and all kinds of things, just to see, what's up and what's right for you, what isn't right for you in the moment, that kind of thing.
One of the cool ways I was taught to use muscle testing is for EFT, emotion freedom techniques. You probably heard it as tapping.
Oh.
And you can actually tap out allergens. So people that have gluten allergies, I've seen it, they can't eat bread. Well, it actually wasn't the gluten. It was like that type of sugar that's in the bread. And you can use muscle testing on ingredients
figure out what it is.
to figure out what
That's
it is that you're
awesome.
reacting to, and then tap to
Love that.
de-escalate the inflammation reaction. So tons of ways to use muscle testing.
Yes.
So it's a great skill to hone and have. I will note, and just so those of you that run off cliffs like me, sometimes your polarity can be backwards. And the way I start is I always say, show me yes, show me no.
Smart. Just calibrate.
Yes. So because maybe you lean back for yes and you lean forward for no, which is the opposite of most people. That doesn't mean it's wrong.
Nope.
That's just how your body's polarized, and that's totally fine. So you can't do it wrong is what I'm saying.
Yes, that's so true. When I learned muscle testing, I was taught to muscle test if my body is willing to tell the truth.
Ooh, what a good question.
As a calibration.
Oh, that gave me chills.
And if not, then to go, to go figure something else out, or, there's some exercises you can do to kind of get your circuitry in, that kind of thing. But
better aligned.
Super fun. But again, that's a calibration thing, and knowing what it is for you is going to help it be a better tool for you.
Very true.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Very
I think
true.
there are lots of ways to find your yes and no, but the important thing is to utilize them both in ways that helps you feel like you're living in alignment with your goals and your core values. And being able to do that means that you're living a life that feels really authentic and that feels really positive and honestly just more you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really love that.
We're not talking about fake, happy, everything's good all the time while you have a fake smile plastered on your face. We're talking about truly, I just feel good.
I love that.
I like how my life is.
Yeah.
It's not that it's perfect. It's not that there's not hard things,
Yep.
but I genuinely enjoy my life.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about, alignment.
I love that. And I think for modern mystics, it's just one of the biggest navigational tools we have to do that. So, yeah. So we encourage you this week to try to do a little sacred yes, even if it's a little bit scary, or try to do one sovereign no, even if it makes you a little uncomfy. It doesn't have to be about something earth shattering. It could be about something very common in your everyday life. And try it with people that you already trust so that it feels a little bit less risky and you can build on that.
I love your friend that does it with an apple. Like that is such a great way to test. Is this apple for me?
Yep.
And that can be your sovereign yes or
Totally.
your sovereign no or your sacred yes, because
Absolutely.
there's no risk of being rejected. So if you're a person that's really fearful of that, do it with an apple. Do it with a drink of water.
Yeah.
There's no risk.
Absolutely.
There's easy
I
ways
love
to do
that.
this. So practice the
And it'll
yes.
help you know what your body needs, and you don't have to worry about confrontations.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yep. Me also. Well, you guys, thank you so much for listening. This podcast was brought to you by Astrology Phoenix, and
Readings and More by Jennafer.
we hope you will subscribe and leave us a review. And please tell us about your experiences with your sacred yes and sovereign